So, this will be our simulating workshop. Let's go ahead and open Blender. Everyone got Blender open? And we have a whole variety of things, bless you, that we can start making. Delete the default cube. Add back the default cube. Bless you. As always, we're going to work the default cube here, the illustrious default cube. And we can do all manners of simulations to this in Blender. Who has a suggestion for one we can tackle first? We're just going to rapid fire these. I'm going to show you how to quickly set them up such that you can do them and experiment with them as you go. So, who's got a suggestion? What kind of simulation? Let's just.
What's the canonical like?
Smoke sim.
Smoke sim. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing. Okay, smoke simulation. So, in Blender, what we're going to do is we're going to delete the default cube. We're going to add in the monkey. We're going to set Suzanne on fire. Very violent, very horrible. But it's going to happen. So, most things for simulations of all kinds can be set up in the modifiers or the physics tab. In this case, if you wanted to set up Suzanne to be on fire or to be on smoke, we would set up a fluid. And I can set up a fluid. I can set it to flow, and it's smoke. Now, if we try to play this, nothing's happening. Well, that's because not only do you need a smoke, or you need a flow, you need a smoke or a fire or a liquid, you need a domain. There's actually a great way to set this up. And many of these simulations can be set up using a quick step. We're in object mode, click on your monkey, go to object, and then quick effects. And this will quickly generate not only this as the flow, but this as the domain. And this is just a rectangular prism that we've got here. So once everyone's got this set up, give me a thumbs up. You've got the smoke domain added. You've got it. Oh, Nathan's got it. You guys got it? So you click on your monkey. We'll go back in time real quick. Go back, okay. Get rid of that. Click on your monkey, go to object, quick effects, quick smoke. I'll leave that hovered there for a second. Got it? Got it. Sweet. Now, if you hit play, whoa! Suzanne's smoking. She's smoking. And we're currently in Eevee. We can switch to cycles, and we can see that this is still pretty. It looks pretty good in cycles. And you may ask, well, why is it hitting the top of here? That's because that's where the domain ends. So let's actually scooch the domain. I'm gonna hit G, oopsies, and we're gonna move it strictly upward, like that. And you can see that our smoke data is still as if it was in the same position it was last time. So we need to go back to the beginning and redo it. And now you can see it's floating upwards, and it hits the top. Okay, so that's cool. We did a smoke. Let's change up our smoke settings a little bit by clicking on our smoke domain and going to the physics tab and scrolling through this window on the right. There's a couple of things that are super important. For example, resolution division. So what this means is that if you look at this little cube down in the bottom left, think about this as like one chunk, one resolution within this greater smoke domain. And that's kind of the size of which it's calculating our smoke, like voxels, or I guess I don't know if that's the right word. Our smoke units, our smoke cubes, our smoke geometry. If we bring this division down, like 12, it gets bigger. Bring it up to 64, it gets smaller. So a bigger resolution is gonna take longer to generate, but it's gonna be higher resolution. You can see it's a little more detailed than it was previously. And it's really chugging my computer here. But you can stop this and look at that and say, hey, that actually looks pretty good. There's another way we can do this. If we go back to our smoke domain, let's set it back to 32 real quick. This whole time I've been going back to the beginning of the timeline to start our animation. We scroll all the way down in here, and if we set the type instead of replay to all, it means that we can actually strictly bake this, which means that if I play this, nothing's happening. If I go back, I say bake all, it's actually baking in our smoke animation now. And we can hit escape to pause, and if we go back through our timeline, look at that. It has baked our animation up to a certain point, and then it stops. It stops generating anything new. And you can configure when that's supposed to start and end right up here, where you have the frame start and the frame end. Okay, well let's say that we don't really want to constrain it to a specific domain. Let's turn on adaptive domain after I free it. Every time you make a change under this all setting, you have to free everything. So let's hit adaptive domain, and let's see what happens if I bake it again. It's gonna take a little bit longer to bake because the domain has to adapt to the size of the smoke, but ideally it should just keep generating it. Aha, it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. Well, actually it kind of did work, but only up to a certain point. And you can mess with those settings later. But you can see for right here, start off smaller, and it got bigger. Some settings in here. Yeah, you can mess with those settings to make the adaptive domain work for you a little better. So yeah, that's smoke. And there's a bunch of other settings you can use. For example, you can configure, you can make it dissolve after a little bit. You can add noise to it to make it a little more interesting. Let's bake it again and see what happens. How are we feeling? You messing around with it? You having fun? Yes, Nathan.
My smoke's just staying still.
Okay, let me come take a look.
Like it's flow.
I'll let you guys see this. Look at this, the smoke's coming up. And it's dissolving. So now it's like a torch of some kind. Let me come look at Nathan's thing. What's going on?
It's dead.
It's dead.
Oh no, I think it's just like
Chug it.
freezing. But I only.
Do you have it on replay?
Hmm.
What, scroll down here. What do you have it on? Scroll down. So scroll, so actually click on your smoke domain instead of your Suzanne. Yeah, so scroll down. How long did you bake it for?
How long do I keep it?
So you have it on replay right now. Let's have it on all, and it'll make it easier for you to bake. So go ahead and bake. You don't have to go back in time on or anything. So bake that, try again, let me know what happens.
Okay, that would make sense.
What happened to Blender? Did Blender crash? Blender crashed.
How do I give it a material?
Well, that's the same way you give anything a material. Go into the shading menu and you go to the smoke domain.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let me actually go back in time and add back my thing.
I added to the smoke domain?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Let's go back to object.
I'm about to destroy my computer.
That's happening to me right now. Quick effects, quick smoke. Let's go back to our thing and make it all and bake it. We can see, got some smoke. So, you can add some shaders to this by going to shading and configuring your smoke domain material. So if we play the timeline a little bit here, actually here, wait, I'm in the wrong view, shading. We can say density, it's denser. Or, let's make it like 1. Now it's super not dense, 50. Now it's super dense. You can change the density, change a bunch of stuff. You can make it emissive, except that doesn't really work. Does it work? No, it just makes the whole box emissive.
Wait a second.
So you can edit these existing principal volume settings in here to give it different attributes, like higher density or something like that. Okay, well where there's smoke, there's probably fire. So what we can do, we can free it up again, and actually click on Suzanne, and then where it says flow type on this menu on the right, instead, whoopsies, Blender crashed. Blender crashed again. Oops, that's Prusa Slicer. Let's open that up again. I think Blender's just gonna keep crashing tonight. Let's try one more time to make this work. Object, oops, actually I don't have anything. Mesh, monkey. You guys get to see this happen over and over again, which is great. Quick effects, quick smoke. All right, we got smoke. Now let's go back to the, let's click on the monkey itself and say fire and smoke, which changes things. You can see it's generating fire here. Looks kind of cool. All I did was just start it. If I go here, it doesn't look like fire. Well, that's because we have to edit the shading. Go in the shader editor, click on our domain, and bring up the black body intensity. You know what that's gonna do is if I go to my, yeah, we're in the right one. Go here, go to our rendered view. If I bring up this black body intensity, whoa, things are heating up. Got fire. Color attribute, I always like to set this to temperature, which is gonna make our fire look different, but it actually didn't look much better. So we're just gonna say, okay. We have fire, guys. That's really cool. And the same things apply that I showed you earlier, where if I go to the physics tab and make this 64, and then change this to all, and I hit bake, it's gonna take a second. Boom. It's higher resolution now. Now, whenever you make a fluid simulation, it's gonna cache that somewhere. So make sure this folder is somewhere that's got a lot of storage. Make sure it's your fastest drive. Make sure it's something that can actually handle that. So remember, to give your fire color, just bring up and down that black body intensity. How we all feeling? Nathan's got a question.
What if we cannot see our smoke in our render?
Are you in EV?
Yes.
Are you in cycles? You're in EV.
I'm EV.
Let's take a look.
Working EV?
Let's take a look. No, it should work in EV. I think I'm in EV right now.
Well, it's a black box.
Okay, you can't see your, well, you can see it. Oh.
Is it because my screw my shit?
Go back to a frame where you're at.
Is it because my shader?
It might be because of your shader.
Okay.
Unfortunate. We'll investigate that later. We'll keep moving though. Is that okay, Nathan? Can we keep moving?
Yeah, keep moving.
I'm gonna keep this workshop a little brief.
Keep moving.
Alright. That was smoke and fire. So what's next? What should we do next?
Soft body.
What?
Soft body sim.
Soft body sim? Soft body sims are tough. Let's do it.
Rigid body then.
What we're gonna do, take a cube, hit A on the plane, just set up this scene real quick. So most other physics sims can be done as follows. We wanna have a plane, we're gonna add a physics modifier to it, and we're gonna say collision. And then we got that. We're gonna take our cube, we're gonna say soft body. I think, oh, no, not quite. Soft body, object, simulation. It also needs to be, I think, why is it just floating? It shouldn't just be floating. I gotta remind myself how to do this. If we did rigid body, it should just fall and hit that. Okay, never mind. Wait, yeah, this should also be a rigid body, and it should be passive. So we just did our rigid body. I'm gonna drop this guy down, say that you're a rigid body, and go plonk. So that just fell on there. Let's say that it's got some bounciness to it. Where's the bounciness? Bounciness. Try that again. Didn't bounce. Try that with the other one. There we go, it bounced. So that's a rigid body, and you can mess with all those settings. But a soft body, that's interesting. A soft body is one that I don't have a lot of experience with. Let's get rid of the rigid body. Let's add back the soft body. And let's see. Why is it just floating? It should not just be floating. Goal? There we go. Boink. What happened? Try it again. Ready? So we made, just to be clear, we made this plane a rigid body. And we did a hard body. We made it bouncy. But now this is a soft body. Boink. Let's try it with a Suzanne. Let's do Control A. Oopsies. I didn't mean to do that. Shift A. No. Yeah, Shift A. And add a monkey. Ah, she's up there. We're up. We do a soft body. We turn off goal. Let's try again. Here we go. Oh! It's crashing my computer.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. We're gonna say good. Oh no, Suzanne, what happened? Maybe if you guys have better computers than I do. Although we should be able to give it a little bit more like rigidity and not just have it collapse like that. That's how you would set up the soft body. All right, we did a soft body, we did a rigid body, now what? We're running through these. What next? Yell it out.
Cloth.
Cloth. All right, I was hoping you'd say that.
Mm-hmm.
So, add a monkey. Lovely Suzanne. Let's add a plane. You guys have definitely seen this on like TikTok or something. What we're gonna
So
do,
I'm gonna make my own.
we're gonna say collision
Not for myself.
on Suzanne, and then we're gonna say cloth on the cloth. And if we hit play, bonk. Ah, there it goes. Looks horrible. Bye bye. Oh, it's still going. It's still going. It's getting caught. Now, what we should do is actually edit this cloth, subdivide it once. You guys have seen this video. Now it's bouncing around. Lovely. Subdivide it again. Oopsies. Wait, I'm in the wrong. Whoa. Ah! That looks a little better. Bring it back to 0. Subdivide it again. Looks a little better. Let's subdivide it a bunch. Lovely. Now she's got a nice hat, except it's falling off. Oh, there it goes. Oh, bye-bye. Whee! Let's subdivide it again. Actually, I'm gonna do it 2 times. Let's see how this goes. Oh, this is gonna be rough on my computer. Here it goes. Here comes the crash. I can feel it. Whoa! If we pause that and take a look at it, wow. If we apply auto smoothing to that, it should look pretty good. Except actually it doesn't.
Yeah,
Oh, shades.
doesn't know what to do with the sharp edges.
Yeah. Cloth sim. That's cloth sim done. And again, all these settings you can try in here. Quality steps. Let's try speed multiplier. 5. Ah! Oh my gosh. It's a hat. She has a hat. You can mess with all these settings in here. Let's try a lower quality step. See how that happens. What happens then? Oh, interesting. Now it's like a mask. She's got a mask on. Lovely. All right, cloth sim. We did a cloth sim. Now what? There's more sims to go. How are we feeling so far? Good. Okay, let's do another one. I'll shout it out. Let's do a liquid sim. So what I'm gonna do, this takes a little bit of setup, so make sure you're following along with me here. I'm going to make a cube, and I'm going to hit tab for edit mode. I'm gonna delete this top face. Bye-bye face. Now, let's add a solidify modifier. Bring it out, or bring it in a bit, I should say. Great, apply. We've got like a little tub here. That's kind of what I wanted. Now, let's add a icosphere. Make it a little smaller, bring it a little upward. An icosphere, we got a tub. Now, we're gonna do the same thing we did earlier. Object, quick effects, quick liquid. And you can see that our little liquid domain happened to fit pretty well around our box. But let's actually scoot it down a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Now, you can do the same thing I showed you earlier, where you can click on the liquid domain and do replay. So it should just go plop. Uh-oh, it didn't hit our box. Why is that? I think it needs to be a collision. Let's try again. Not quite. Does it need to be an effector? Do we need to have it be a fluid effector? That's more like it, except it kind of actually splashed outside of it, but that's not important. That's just because it doesn't have a lot of geometry to work with. If we bring this a little lower and try again, it might not splash out. Yeah, it just got a little too violent last time. Cool. But I want it to be a flow, not just a squish. So let's set this instead of being let's set this guy, instead of it being just a this guy. Instead of being a flow, no. Instead of flow behavior being geometry, let's set flow behavior to inflow. Now watch this. Whoa, there goes our liquid. You can see it looks very pretty. Filling up. Is it gonna spill over? It's spilling over. But then it's getting caught on this arbitrary domain. Well, it's not just any arbitrary domain. It happens to be our our liquid domain. If you go back, you can see it's doing the simulation until it reaches the end of our domain. And the same things can be done with this liquid, where we can make the resolution divisions higher, like 64, and we can set it to all. Make all. It's gonna crash my computer, I just know it. And the same way that you can change the shader on that, you can change the shader on this. Oh, sorry, that was remarkably non-specific. Oh, it just totally did not work with our thing this time. Why? Why did you not work? Collision? Sampling substeps? Let's bring that up to 5. What happens if I unbake this? See what happens. That's an interesting issue. Why'd that happen for y'all? Let's make it replay again. Here it comes. And does it work with our thing? Not really. Interesting. Is planner maybe? Let's try that. Here it goes. Yeah, it's kind of working. It's just coming down with such ferocity that it's like skipping through the mesh a little bit. If I subdivide this guy, let's see if that helps. We are actively working together here. And much better. This thing actually having some mesh to it helped a lot. So that's kind of pretty. Let's go in the shader and let's see where the heck is our liquid domain material. There it is. Okay. Material output, glass. Let's do something else. Instead of it being a glass, let's make it a principal BDSF. Or a volume? No, principal BDF. Easy. Okay. So it's gonna look kind of weird. Let's turn on our EV rendering and let's zoom in. See how it looks. I would like to make it glow. So I'm gonna add, actually in emission, I'm gonna set the color to like a blue and say like 3. Oh, our liquid glows. It's beautiful. So let's watch that again now that it's glowing. Beautiful. Look at that. We got a liquid and it's glowing. All right, we did a liquid sim. Now what? What's next? We're running through these. I'm just gonna reset the blender just to make sure. What's next? What have we not done?
Whatever force field is.
Huh?
Oh, it is force field.
Particle sim. Oh, particle sim. It has been a second since I've done a particle sim. We add a icosphere. We go to the we go to the particles tab right here. Add a new particle system. See what happens. Particles are going everywhere. Okay. Well, they're going downward. What if I don't want it to be going anywhere? Let's set that normal to 0. It doesn't actually do anything. How about we say physics? Mass, 1 kilogram. It's 0 kilograms, see what happens. Nothing happened there. There should be somewhere a gravity setting. Is it in the world settings? No. It's not in here. Where is this gravity setting? Field weights? It's somewhere in here. There's a gravity setting you can use.
Yeah, it's in field weights.
It's in what?
It's the first one in field weights. Drop it down.
Gravity. 0. Aha! Now it's going everywhere. Set gravity to -1. Now they're going upwards. Set it back to 1. They're going down. We're into this. There's not really much to see. That's where, if we add in a little monkey, make it a lot smaller, go over here, go over this way. I believe in our particle system settings, we can find an area to make it a specific object. And I think that's going to be somewhere. Question is where? Oh, is it in here? No, it's not there. Missions. Aha! Source! Nope. Wait. Emit from volume? No. Where is this? Children? Animation? Where? Oopsies. Oh, I did not mean to click here. where can I set the actual thing? Is it in here? No. Do you guys know? Source? Vertices?
What are you looking for?
Where to actually set the actual like a thing that it's emitting.
Oh, okay. So, wait a second. Oh. You're on the emitter right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I have this on another blend file I can pull up. It's on my
Viewport
computer.
display?
Let me pull up my blend file. Okay.
I don't remember.
I'm bringing it up right now. It's render.
Under render.
Yeah,
Yeah.
change object. I just
Aha!
Yeah,
There it
you-
is.
you do
Render
that.
as object. Object is Suzanne. A bunch of teeny tiny little Suzannes. Oh my god. Scale 1. Ah! Millions of Suzannes. Scale randomizer, sure, 1. Now there are a bunch of different random scales. Extra. So now we can do a bunch of interesting stuff. Add some initial velocity to it so they're going that way. Whoa. Wow, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, they're all blowing that way. Or set it back to 0. And maybe set the, oh, it ended. Z. Now they're going up before they go down. So now it's like a fountain of Suzannes. Wait, that's so funny. There should also be a lifetime somewhere for these guys. Emission, lifetime. Let's set it to like 200. Look at this. We got a Suzanne fountain. Lovely. That's all I'm going to cover for that. What next? Do we have any more? Object? Ooh, there's one more I want to show you. And then we'll try maybe if there's anything else you guys can remember. Let's have monkey. Suzanne. Hello, Suzanne. Now we can go in the physics tab, or no, the particles tab. We can give it new particles. We can say hair. Whoa! That doesn't look good. Let's make it smaller. Much smaller. Okay, well now Suzanne just looks like a cactus, which I'm not really in love with. And we can go in here and we can try to figure out some things like the shape and the tip and I don't know, a lot of different stuff. But again, as always, we can get there a lot faster by going to Object, Quick Effects, Quick Fur. Whoa! Suzanne's hairy now! And then between these couple of things, we've got a bunch of curves. And we've got, in the Modifiers tab, a huge amount of modifiers. In which case, we can edit those and say, let's see what this does. Nothing noticeable initially. Nothing noticeable initially. What about in here? Whoa. That's changing a lot of stuff. Let's make them, that shape doesn't do much. Scale, no. You can mess with stuff in here. Now it's really straight. Oh, I see. These are stacked on top of each other. Interesting. Interesting. Seed. Change the seed to make the hair look different. See how it looks. Ugh, freaky. Let's give it a light so we can actually see. Ugh, freaky. Ooh. Suzanne's hairy, but like it's like a scary hair. Let's add in a light. Where's my light? It's way up there. Where is it? Oh, it wasn't even there. Let's give it some extra light. 1000. Whoa! Ugh. Ugh. Yuck. That's kind of gross. But it's hair. And there are a billion different settings you can mess with in here. The goal of this workshop is to just get you started off such that you can actually do these simulations. How are you feeling? Anyone want to go back over or check in on? besides this freaky hair, which I'm kind of afraid of. Let's combine all of them. Let's combine all of them until we get a crash. Let's do object, quick effects, quick smoke. The hairy Suzanne is also, oh jeez. Quick liquid. Let's see what happens. No, that's not what I meant. No, go back. Make this the quick effects, quick liquid. Jeez. Ah, freaky. What is happening? No. Let's undo all of that. Any more simulating I can think of? Let's see. Any of the other quick effects I didn't cover? Fur, explode. Okay, let's do explode. Let's do explode. Explode is a lot of fun because it can be used for some pretty cool VFX projects. So let's get our monkey. Object, quick effects, quick explode. Ah! They killed her! She's dead. She's dead. Let's see what we can modify in here. There's an explode going on. Is there any physics we can mess with? Particle system. It's a particle system. Number. Let's add a bunch more numbers. Whoa! Let's make it like 1,000. Let's see what happens. There's a bunch of parts of it now. Like 10 maybe? Less parts. 2,000. Suzanne exploded into 1 billion pieces. Whoa! Let's go back to our modifiers and say show mess when particles are dead. I don't know what that did, but it didn't do much.
Maybe you have like a collision plane?
Yeah, probably. Go back to our particles, let's say velocity. They still have all of that. Let's set the tangent to something high. Whoa! It kind of went outward. Boom! Let's say, like, that's even more, like 100. Let's see what happens. Wah! Went everywhere. Whoosh. Bye-bye. Let's explode. Relies on a combination, so all of these simulations rely on a combination of geometry nodes, particles, and physics modifiers. That's about all I got for you. How are we feeling? Feel like you've learned an appropriate amount of simulation techniques today? It's a resounding yes.
At least I know what they are, but I want to get really into the weeds of one of them.
Which one would you like to learn more about? If we can focus on it.
I don't know.
Well, okay. If we go back to the fire one is the one I know most about. You want to kind of let's focus more on the fire one. I think the fire one's one of the coolest ones. Let's go back in time. General, and save. So remember, the way we start the fire one is we get our desired mesh, go to object, go to quick effects, go to quick smoke. It's just a good jumping off point. So if you want to make a really good fire sim, there's a couple of things you probably want. You want your smoke domain, you want this effector to be fire and smoke. So you can see right off the bat, it's going to be generating some pretty low quality fire and smoke. Let's make our smoke domain a lot bigger so we have a lot more area to work with, and add it to, like, make it at the bottom because the smoke's not going to go anywhere but up. So if we do it again, you can see now we've made our domain bigger. The smoke is also a lower resolution, which would make sense because it means that there's more area for that same little cube to deal with. If we run it again, I just upped it to 64. Oh, it's chugging. So there's a couple of things we can do to make it better. Again, I'm going to say all so that we actually bake this sim as opposed to not baking it. And we're going to say it's only 250. I'm going to add some noise to it. And there's some settings in here that actually get the fire to have some cool settings. So, for example, vorticity is one that's really cool. Let's bake this real quick and see how it looks. Let's get to like maybe 50 frames before stopping it. We'll say 40 frames actually. Okay, doesn't look too bad. Let's free it. Let's make the vorticity 1. See what happens. there's just all of these fire settings in this tab. All of this can be used to configure the fire sim such that it actually looks different, it looks more realistic, it looks less realistic, it achieves a certain goal. Okay, it looks a little more chaotic than last time, I would say. What if we freed it and made the vorticity 0? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oops, I accidentally pulled up the news. It's a little more globby now. Let's free it again, set that back to 0.5, bring up a temperature. Oh, Blender crashed. Blender has crashed. Point is, there were a bunch of settings in there that if you set up your resolution divisions to be really high, and ideally if you don't have Blender and OBS and Discord streaming, it's ideally going to allow you to kind of customize this fire to be a lot more intense. So let's go back. Again, we're going to set that resolution division to something higher, 64. See it bake, it's going to be kind of chugging. And remember, we can also dissolve it such that it actually starts to disappear after a small amount of time. And that dissolve has a timer to it. You can add noise to it, where you can scale all these settings. Again, that fire settings, reaction speed, I think, it crashed. It crashed. The point is, there's a bunch of settings in there which you can use to configure the fire, and there are great tutorials online for how to achieve a specific fire result. You can use it to achieve like a cartoony result, you can get it to be a realistic result, and again, a lot of the fire settings can be configured in the shader editor such that your fire looks a little more desirable. If we add back our Suzanne one last time, because I'll wrap up after this. Go to Object, go to Quick Effects, Quick Smoke, make it, instead of just smoke, make it also fire and smoke. You can see that if we look at the rendered view, it's actually not going to look like much. But then by adding this shader to it, we go and click on our smoke domain and bring up this black body intensity, our fire starts to glow. And we can make the emission color different colors, so it can be like based in being blue. Different colors, yeah, look at that, that's kind of cool. Temperature, we can bring up the temperature, make it a lot more prominent. Oh my gosh, or make it like 10, in which case we can't see it. Or make it like, I don't know. Oh wait, whenever we start seeing it. And you can plug things in, like the color. Let's plug the color into a color ramp. Color ramp. Let's see what happens if we do that. That's interesting. Ah, no, the smoke is very interesting. Yeah. Add a bit of a gradient to it. But shader editor allows you to make your fire a little more interesting. We've got an evil Suzanne that's glowing green. Mwahaha. Now that we're in this setting, let's go back into that fire setting. I want to see what happens if we, oopsies, mess with the reaction speed. Kind of hard to see in this version. Let's bring the reaction speed back down. See what that does. Now it's just like a cloud. I think the reaction speed makes it like kind of crazier, like, yeah, cool. Let's bring the temperature up, see what that does. Bring the reaction speed back down, say that the vorticity is high, let's see what that does. Oopsies. Interesting. Wow, that's very different. Whoa, it's going all over the place. Cool. These settings are how you can change all of this. It's pretty cool. Let's make it dissolve, let's give it noise, see what that does. Doesn't look like it's dissolving to me, but it definitely doesn't have as much smoke. Cool. Okay. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this workshop. Feel free to, if you're watching the recording, to go back at any point and review a certain section that you liked or didn't like. But I at least hope that this can be a jumping off point for you to be able to start messing with, for example, a fur sim or a smoke sim or a particle sim or a rigid body sim such that you can make your own simulations. All right. Thanks very much, y'all.